What's going on, everyone? Sports back with another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the New York Giants signing offensive tackle Jermaine Eluemunor from the Las Vegas Raiders. The 29-year-old has signed with the New York Giants on a 2-year, $14 million deal. I really like this move for the Giants. This is one that I kind of saw coming, and a lot of Giants fans, kind of had him as a target and were predicting him to the Giants. And I think it makes a lot of sense. I really do. I think, he's the guy who's going to compete with Evan Neal and provide, some sort of kind of competition at the tackle and not give Evan Neal the guarantee of obviously starting, So I think this offensive line could look a lot like shifting Evan Neal to the guard or shifting Eluemunor to the guard, I think. And, of course, he's now reunited with his former offensive line coach that the Giants brought in here to be our O-line coach. So I think that could have a lot to do with this. But, of course, I think the deal makes a lot of sense for the Giants. It's a cheap deal, $7 million per season for a guy who had a really good year. I think this signing is something that the Giants are going to look back on in 2 years and say, wow, that was a good contract. He kind of went under the radar in Vegas, but he had a real good year. When he played over 900 offensive snaps last year, he allowed 6 sacks, so that was tough. He allowed a few sacks, but he committed just 5 penalties. That was top 30 in the NFL for tackles with at least 20% of league highest volume. This could be a smart signing for the Giants. He's a big guy. He's 330 pounds, 6'4". He was a former 5th-round pick of the Ravens back in 2017. And, he's a guy who really seems excited to be a Giant. This is what he had to say on Twitter. I'm excited AF to be a Giant. Cannot wait to get started and help this team in any way I can. Y'all won't regret it, I promise. Then he had this to say, and keep in mind, he is from London. England. The first football game I ever watched, Dolphins versus Giants at Wembley Stadium in 2007. Fast forward 17 years later, I get the opportunity to suit up and play for the team that made me want to play this game. Grateful is an understatement. So I really like signings like this where the player's super excited, and the fans are on board with it. I think it makes a lot of sense. This offensive line this upcoming season could look a lot like Andrew Thomas, John Runyon, John Michael Schmitz, Evan Neal, and Jermaine Eluemunor. A lot more serviceable than what we've had. Now, this is a 2-year deal, but this could ultimately end up being a contract that or a player that is in New York for much longer. Eluemunor, if he plays well, the Giants will waste no time and re-sign him. I think it just makes too much sense for the Giants. I mean, he's a guy who, came from Vegas where our O-line coach came from. He can continue to coach him up and, play where realistically, he had the best year of his career last year with this O-line coach that's now with the Giants. And second year of developing him could go a long way. So I really like it for the Giants. And if he has a good year next year, I don't think that Joe Schoen will even hesitate to give him an extension. Just like the John Runyon deal. I think that both of these guys could be Giants longer than the duration of their contract. Just because, how thin the Giants are at that position, how much we've needed O-linemen for, years. And just given the fact that they're guys that are already in-house, and they both, at least Eluemunor, really seems like he wants to be a Giant. So if they get good play from these guys, they could definitely be here longer than the duration of their contract, and I'm hoping that's the case. I could really see it happening. But I love the signing for the Giants. Jermaine Eluemunor could be a guy who comes in here, provides, like I said, much-needed competition to Evan Neal, and it just makes too much sense not to do. It's a cheap deal. At least for his position, and it just makes a lot of sense for the Giants. And I'm really excited. I think he's going to be a starter next year for the Giants, whether that's at the guard or the tackle, that remains to be seen. But I'm really excited to see what ultimately the Giants get out of Eluemunor, and hopefully he plays well, and the Giants extend him. Same for Runyon. And same for a lot of guys on this team. But I really like this deal. You guys let me know down in the comment section your thoughts on the Giants signing Jermaine Eluemunor. 2 years, $14 million from the Las Vegas Raiders. I like the deal. You guys let me know the good stuff down in the comment section. As always, please leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. See you guys on the next video. And as always, let's go Giants.